Good morning and welcome to Daybreak as we continue to stream here through 9:30 on WGRZ Plus. And developing now, Buffalo police are asking for the public's help in finding a missing child. Take a look. They say 13-year-old Devontae LeCount was last seen in the Sycamore Coons area and is known to be in the Lackawanna area often. Police say he's 5'6". If you have any information about his whereabouts, you should call 911. Well, this morning we have some news that we first brought you yesterday on Daybreak. We've got an update about it. It's regarding an abandoned vehicle that was discovered by Buffalo police yesterday morning in Niagara Square. Sources tell 2 on Your Side that police are investigating if a gun found in that vehicle belonged to former Erie County Sheriff's narcotics chief, DJ Granville. 2 on Your Side's Alyssa Clausell joins us from Niagara Square to tell us more.
Hey there, good morning. Sources tell 2 on Your Side that investigators have, quote, high confidence that a gun found inside that abandoned vehicle overnight belongs to former Erie County narcotics chief DJ Granville. This was the scene from atop our RAND building. The camera there just after 2 a.m. yesterday. You can see multiple police cruisers surrounding a vehicle in Niagara Square. From what we've been told, police found the vehicle abandoned in one of the squares near Niagara Street with no driver in sight. 2 on Your Side crews responded to the scene sometime after 2 a.m. Wednesday and got a closer look at investigators searching for clues and evidence, trying to piece together why a Tesla had just been left in the square. Multiple sources tell 2 on Your Side that a gun was found inside of this vehicle, and in addition to that, medication bearing DJ Granville's name was also recovered, according to sources close to this investigation. Right now, however, it is unclear who was driving that Tesla prior to it being abandoned. Granville's attorney, Terry Connors, provided a statement to WGRZ saying DJ Granville was not the operator of the vehicle. 2 on Your Side followed up with Connors and asked if the gun belonged to Granville, but we did not get a response. Authorities tell us that investigators are treating the situation with, quote, high confidence that the gun does belong to Granville. Buffalo police are coordinating the investigation with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives to determine if this gun is in fact registered to Granville. This incident comes less than 2 months after Granville officially retired from the Erie County Sheriff's Office as the narcotics chief. Back in April of 2024, Granville was involved in a multi-vehicle crash while driving his county-issued work vehicle. News of that crash was not made public until a 2 Investigates report in March of 2025. That incident led to multiple investigations where Granville ultimately pled guilty to reckless driving and leaving the scene of a property damage incident. Right now, it is unclear if any charges will be filed in relation to this incident as Buffalo police continue their investigation. We will keep an eye on it and update you with the very latest as this story develops on air and online. On Your Side, Alyssa Clausell, Channel 2 News.
Well, an update to another story that we first brought you on Daybreak yesterday. Buffalo police now confirmed that they are investigating a shooting that happened early Wednesday in the city's entertainment district. A spokesperson for the Buffalo Police Department says it happened just before 2 on Delaware near Chippewa. They say a person was shot in the leg and then left the scene in a car and then later arrived at ECMC. That person is expected to be okay. The federal death penalty case against the top mass shooter will be back in a Buffalo courtroom later this afternoon. Peyton Gendron is scheduled for a status conference today. Jury questionnaires were sent out in March, and the in-person jury selection process will begin in mid-August. Gendron is already serving a life sentence in connection to the shooting. A town of Tonawanda man accused of killing his wife is also expected back in court today. 36-year-old Nicholas Malvaso faces second-degree murder charges in the death of his wife, 51-year-old Tiffany Malvaso. Police responded to a 911 call at the Cleveland Drive home just before 3 o'clock Saturday morning, where they say they found her body. Investigators say she suffered blunt force trauma. Malvaso is being held without bail and is scheduled to appear for a felony hearing this afternoon. And Amherst police have charged a Buffalo 18-year-old and 2 minors in what they're calling a targeted armed robbery. Police say a victim was robbed at gunpoint inside his car in broad daylight. It all happened around Caledine Avenue just before noon Tuesday. The 3 suspects are 18-year-old Jameer Jackson of Buffalo and 2 people under the age of 18. They were charged with robbery, conspiracy, and possession of stolen property. Investigators say the incident was not random and there is no threat to the general public, but they're not giving any more details. All right, it is 9:05, 46 degrees, and we are looking at the waterfront. And Patrick, in just a little while, we were going to talk about the cruise ships that will be docking in the outer harbor beginning next week. We've got details about the itinerary and the price tag, which you'll want to stick around for.
Yes, for the price, you could sail the Danube or you can sail the Erie.
Or you could take a trip to Australia for the price tag.
Right. It must be a wonderful trip.
Yes.
More on that that wonderful sail away trip here locally in the Great Lakes. Ought to be interesting. More on that coming up. All right. Weather-wise, nice weather today. Tomorrow, equally as nice. Maybe a few more clouds in the afternoon. 60 today, mid-60s tomorrow. All right. Rain chances. Clearly, it's Saturday. That's going to be the wettest day with smaller chances Sunday, Monday. But still, there could be a few showers for the latter part of the weekend. It's really Saturday that you're going to need to alter any outdoor plans. I think you should keep them, though, for Sunday, Monday. All right, numbers close to 60 today, mid to upper 60s, probably mid 60s, more like it, as we head to tomorrow. 66 in Buffalo, 68 in East Aurora. Memorial Day weekend, there we go. We've got rain on Saturday. All right, if you've got plans outdoors Sunday and Monday, I think you should be okay. Best chances of rain showers appears to be Sunday morning, and then again, possibly Monday morning. But here comes that soaking rain on Saturday. That will get your attention because it's going to be an inch and a half of rain at least. A few showers on Sunday and Monday, 70s. Next week, boy, I'll tell you what, Melissa, we're going to have a stretch of very nice dry weather, it appears, as we head towards Tuesday, Wednesday, and possibly the end of next week. So that looks pretty good.
Yeah, we deserve that after this rainy Saturday for Memorial Day weekend. All right, Patrick, thank you. You want to stay with us. Coming up, we will talk about what the job market looks like for new college graduates. Advice from an education expert coming up right after the break. Welcome back. Commencement season is underway across Western New York, and thousands of students will be looking for jobs as soon as they get that diploma in their hand. And yesterday we spoke with an education expert here on Daybreak about what it takes for students, graduates, to get jobs. Take a look. Joining me now is the Executive Director of the Education Revolution Association, or ERA, Tim O'Shea. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Melissa. Good to be here.
So they've got a piece of paper, their diploma, a degree that maybe they don't know what to do with, a whole lot of student loans, and now they're going into this job market. What does this job market look like?
Yeah, it's where
right
the
now?
adventure really begins. There's numbers that, and I'll share some of them with you that describe what's going on in the job market. But I'll preface it by saying, and this is the biggest thing, it's so individual, right? Like what a graduate wants to do, the path they want to head on. These numbers are just talking about the population, not necessarily somebody's path. But yeah, I mean, right now the unemployment rate for recent college graduates is the highest it's been since before the pandemic. Right now it's nearing 6%. Heading into the pandemic, it was under 4%. So that's a pretty big jump. The bigger thing, though, this is the one that jumps out at me more, is 4 out of 10 recent graduates are underemployed. So they're not unemployed, but whatever they got their degree in, whatever their aspirations are, they're reporting that their jobs are not matching up with that.
So if they are graduating and not having a job, or they're underemployed, what are the skills that the employers are looking for in recent grads that will make them more hireable? Yeah,
this is the interesting part. And if I'll preface this one by saying, think about, for anyone out there, think about, in high school, or if you went to college or, any post-high school education, did you learn these skills? So one of them is problem solving, creativity. So 9 out of 10 employers, I saw a recent study on this one. 9 out of 10 employers are saying they want great problem solvers. They want creative thinkers. Yeah, 8 out of 10 employers are saying they want people who work really well in teams. And 8 out of 10 are also saying we want people with great communication skills. And as obvious as all those things seem, like, of course you want people who solve problems, who communicate well, who can listen well, people who work well with people around them. Employers are saying above everything else, above technical skills, this is what we need.
And especially at a time when, students are buried in their devices and really communicating via text.
That's why.
I think that communicating, looking someone in the eye, having a good handshake, I mean, those things that we take for granted, these young people don't understand or don't know how to do it.
And a big one too is, along those lines is in a conversation, listening to what's being said and taking it in and then responding. And just taking a beat and responding to what was actually said versus, as the person's talking to you, thinking, what am I going to say next? What am I going to ask next? That's always been an issue, but even more so now, because in a text, you have that time to think. In a conversation, you've got to, think a little bit quicker, and you've got to rely on yourself to take in that information. And really, that's a huge job skill. You're sitting in a room with people or on a Zoom with people trying to solve a problem. Are you really listening to what's being said?
Right. So. Now, Tim, how important is it for grads to be flexible when they're going into the job market and taking what they thought that they wanted to do and, well, maybe this isn't really going to happen right away?
Yeah, so important. And, there's also, again, if you look at the studies that are out there, a variety of surveys that all kind of come down to saying the same thing, which is the vast majority of recent college grads are not happy with the career path that they're on. And so, and that depends what if you went to school to be a lawyer, if you went to school to be a teacher, an accountant, something in the medical field, something where there is kind of a direct, there's not one path, but there's a more defined path with credentialing and certifications. That's one thing, right? You kind of know what you need to do and what the options are. But if you're in something, whether it's, media, broadcasting, communication, something that's more on the creative side, there are so many different paths. So really there it's a matter of, building experiences and meeting people who can see the skills that you bring to, it's not so much about who it's more about who knows what you can do. And do they want you, and do you want them, right? So finding those right matches.
And along that route, with unemployment so high and it's so hard to get a job, if a grad does get a job offer right away, do they take that immediate first job offer that they have, or should they be thinking about internships and more networking and mentoring to make sure that the job that they take is the right one for them? Yeah,
there's a lot of factors to consider there. So if you have a ton of debt and you need the income, if you need health insurance, for a lot of people, they're covered until 26 if their parents are providing that. Well, for anybody, here, if you have parents who are providing you health insurance, you've got a lot of flexibility that way till 26, but that's not going to apply to everybody. If you have kids, if you're in a relationship, if you have plans for the future that require a certain level of income, then maybe you have to take it. But if you've got more flexibility than that, then yeah, I would be personally, and again, just personal opinion, I'd be hesitant to jump at the first job unless you can look at that job and say, for these reasons, I'm going to grow, I'm going to meet the right kind of people, I'm going to be able to build from here. And a job isn't permanent either, right? It's a job, it's not your entire career. So you can look at it that way.
What are some strategies that you can suggest for recent graduates who might have a lot of anxiety that, they've been in this bubble of the college campus and now they're an adult? And it kind of makes me think of, bringing the baby home from the hospital. Okay, now what do I do? What are some pieces of advice you can give to deal with the anxiety of not being employed, having to figure out how to be an adult now, and having the world staring right at you?
Yeah, oh God. I mean, it's been a long time for me, but I remember that feeling so well. I'm going to guess you probably do too.
Right.
It's a tricky one. Well, the first thing is give yourself a lot of grace. When you are in your 20s, for the most part, we're talking here about people in their 20s. When you're in your 20s, you're absolutely an adult. You have adult responsibilities. You're not going to have, you don't have the experience that someone in their 30s or their 40s does. So give yourself a chance to build that up and just, be patient with yourself. That's number one. And then the other thing too is know that employers are really, employers are looking at the candidate market and saying, it's hard to find the right kind of people. A lot of people are applying, but going through a pool of applications and trying to find a good match that way is really frustrating for employers too. So the more opportunity you have to get out there and meet people, and whether it's the people you meet or their own network, if somebody can go to someone and say, I met this person named Melissa, she's a recent graduate, she went to so-and-so college, and she really struck me in these ways. These are some ways I think she could help you. That's actually how a lot of the best job opportunities come about. And people don't talk about that enough. They talk about seeing an opening online and applying with thousands of other people. You should do that. But the biggest thing is just get out there and be open to meeting people.
Right. Often it's not what you know, it's who you know.
It's who you know and what you can do and making sure they know that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Really good advice there. Thank you so much. Career planning strategies in a time of uncertainty for so many people.
It's a tough one. But yeah, number one, the biggest takeaway, people should be patient with themselves, but also make sure you're getting out there and meeting people. All right. Absolutely go meet people.
Great advice. Tim O'Shea from Education Revolution Association. Thank you so much for being here. And stay with us. Coming up after the break, we'll talk about a new feature that we're just seeing for the first time at the new Highmark Stadium. And also, are you curious about what a cruise to Buffalo entails? Wait till you hear about the itinerary and how much it's going to cost you. Coming up right after the break. Welcome back, everyone. It is 9:20 on Daybreak. We're talking Sabres this morning, and just days after their first place run in 15 years came to an end, the team announced that it is extending head coach Lindy Ruff's contract with a 2-year deal.
So
I think
cool.
Sabres fans are just breathing a sigh of relief.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like everything came together for a lot of reasons, but he was the main part.
For sure. That extension is now going to keep Ruff as the Sabres head coach through at least the 28-29 season. Of course, this is his second stint here in Buffalo, and he helped spark one of the biggest turnarounds in franchise history, leading the Sabres to their first division title since 2010 and then ending that 14-season playoff drought. Here's what Sabres general manager Jarmo Kekalainen and Lindy himself had to say, reflecting on this past season.
Just real proud of everything that we've accomplished so far, but this is just the beginning. I mean, it was so great to see how this city came together. I get chills even thinking about it. Just the atmosphere in the building, the electricity around the whole city.
We had a good playoff, but like I said the other night, it hurts because I felt we were the better team, that we should still be playing. Didn't capitalize. I don't have to go into detail. We didn't capitalize on a lot of opportunities in the Game 7 to put the game in our favor.
Yeah, Lindy has also been named a finalist for the NHL's Jack Adams Award. That award is presented each year to the coach who's made the biggest impact on his team. And I can't remember the last time I went to a Sabres offseason saying, I'm feeling really good about next year.
Well,
the year after. I mean, this is a young team. There's so much promise, and Lindy clearly is coaching them the right way with this turnaround.
And he's been involved with the Sabres as long as you've been around.
Pretty much.
Because he got drafted in 77?
Yes, I was not born then.
Okay.
I was born in 82.
So he preceded Melissa by 5 years. And when I mean preceded Melissa, not in job, not in place, but in life.
In life.
So yeah, he's got an amazing tenure here. And and I love what he said yesterday in his press conference. He said, before I took the extension, or before I took the job in the first place, I had to consult my assistant coach.
His wife.
I love
that. Yeah, but he could retire and enjoy this time but just I think know that he wants to win a cup here.
Yeah. And what a great, because think about, you didn't want his last coaching experience with the Sabres to be last year.
Right.
You want to, now he has a chance to go out with if he left now, he'd be going out with a winning team, but now he can maybe take that next step.
But I don't think anyone would blame him to say, I'm old enough to retire and I'm leaving a good team into good hands with someone else. But no, he wants to win a cup as much as Buffalo wants him to help us win a cup. And so I love that he's sticking around and hopefully can accomplish that. Do you remember the psychic thing that everyone was sharing?
Yeah, I was
Wilson?
with Brayton Wilson last week. I was with him. He told me about how this prophecy was getting closer and closer.
Right. So the prophecy said, and Brayton posted this 5 years ago, that a psychic called him 3 times, adamant to talk to him, to say that the Sabres would win a Stanley Cup in 26, and the Bills would win a Super Bowl in 27. Now, after the Sabres run ended, I was like, well, that's too bad.
They still can.
But they can. And now everyone's posting about this, that, okay, well, maybe it wasn't the 25-26 year that the Sabres would. It could be the 26-27 year that the Sabres actually win a Stanley Cup. So perhaps the psychic is still right.
It's all about, this prophecy became, he was telling me, like, he put it out there earlier this year when they were playing poorly, like, oh, just a reminder, I got this thing 5 years ago. Then all of a sudden, the season turns around. We all know how well the Bills are doing and their chances. It's like, this thing might be true.
Right.
Who would have thought in 2017, when both teams were lousy?
Yeah, like, no way.
Right.
So, very fascinating. Okay, and speaking of Bills, check out these photos that Pete Gwelly posted yesterday. I had no idea this was going to be.
I didn't either.
You didn't either,
No.
right? This is a replica field of turf. The field inside is grass.
Grass, yeah.
But this is outside the new Bills Stadium.
That is so cool.
And Pete Gwelly said that this is for fans to hang out on game days.
And practice little 4-on-4, 7-on-7. You know,
so you know that fans are going to be like taking so many pictures on it for game days, but where it's located and how it looks, I believe that this will be just like any other place outside the Bills Stadium
that you can access,
where you can access all year round.
You don't have to have a ticket.
So imagine like on a Saturday being like, oh, let's go, play a game of football with some friends out on the Bills mini field outside the stadium.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
That is really cool. And it's painted and it looks like it's the real deal. It's just a mini version. And that's one of the amenities I didn't know about.
Yeah. I mean, we all knew about the big, huge Buffalo bison statues that still have to go up, but I didn't know that there would be a mini field outside for
Oh,
fans.
and by the way, you remember how you thought that the Buffalo Bills emblem might
look small?
In person, it's perfect.
Okay.
Okay, because I agree. When it went up, at first we're like
Highmark Stadium is so much more prominent.
Is it one size too small? Should you've gone with an XL versus a large, right? And instead, when you see it in person, it's good.
The Bills logo is
the logo
prominent
underneath the Highmarks part. It's all in proportion. It looks good.
Okay. And finally, we have to talk about this real quick. Look, is that the Cotter?
No, it looks like the Cotter. It's red.
Because it's red. Anyway, this is a live look right now at the waterfront. Well, now on the outer harbor, there's going to be a terminal for cruise ships. It won't open until 2028, and we saw some renderings of what this cruise ship terminal will look like on the outer harbor, right where the pier, this is it, these are the terminals. So this won't open until 28, but next week, cruise ships are coming here. And so I had to look it up. And so I did a deep dive this morning on what cruise lines are coming here.
Melissa was fascinated.
I was so curious and fascinated. So it's great. So it's American Cruise Lines. And there are 2 cruise lines that are coming here. A 9-day cruise and a 14-day cruise.
To Cleveland.
The 9-day goes, you start in Syracuse and you go up to the Thousand Islands, Ogdensburg, then
really
down
cool.
to Rochester, Niagara Falls, and Buffalo. The 14-day one goes to Michigan. No, you start here in Buffalo. I'm trying to find the itinerary.
With a bonus stop in Alpena.
Oh my gosh. It goes from Buffalo to Toledo, Detroit, up to, is it Sault Ste. Marie or Sault Ste. Marie?
Sault Ste. Marie.
Sault Ste. Marie, I pronounced that wrong. Okay. To Mackinac Island, down to Milwaukee is where it ends. It's on a 130-passenger ship. The 9-day cruise is more than $8,000. And the 14-day cruise, starts at $13,000.
Toledo has become quite the cruise destination, apparently.
You could go to Turks and Caicos.
Or you can go to Toledo and Cleveland.
Do a 1 month European.
Now,
cruise.
I want to say this. I bet the part up to the Thousand Islands, I bet that's beautiful.
Right.
You know,
And
it just seems, the price tag seems.
Yes. And I loved, though, what they said that you should do in Buffalo. You should go to the
Yeah.
AKG. You're obviously going to Niagara Falls. They said go, they're going to do a walking trip to Canal Side, but they said go to the Darwin Martin house, go see the architecture. I mean, there are wonderful things that you can do here that I think that these really rich people who are on this cruise ship will be very excited about what they see here in Western New York. But I couldn't, I'm so fascinated. I will not be going on one of those.
When that husband and wife have a choice, do you want to go to Detroit or the Danube? Honey, what would you like?
Bye, everybody.
That is the Connor.